Hi guys, this is gsn1.com and I'm here with the Motorola Edge 40 Pro. It's finally here in Europe, being basically a rebadged Moto X40, which was available in China quite a few months ago. So, this is a flagship. It's a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor device, and in many ways it's a return to the original ideas of the OG Motorola Edge. I mean a narrow phone with very curved edges and also with an overkill refresh rate of 160Hz and a price of 900 euros. Plus a way of properly adjusting the horizon when you're filming and rotating the phone. Also a brand new interface in the MyUX area. So this is the current flagship from Motorola. It still has that ready for Pro capacity and a special extra feature for protection of your data. You're going to see that in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to unlock the device, and next up I'm going to show you what's in the box, not before I adjust this brightness, which is actually quite high. Okay, so this is an unboxing, and in the box we're getting the following. First of all, plastic-free, recyclable and soy ink, good to see. Here we should have the following. A case, it's a slip-on case, it doesn't protect the device all the way, but it's transparent. And it doesn't help with the grip, to be honest, because it's glossy. There's the manual, there's the SIM key, and also some juridic info, plus a very hefty charger. This one is a 125 watt charger with an USB-C connector, and then we have the USB-C to USB-C cable. And I would say this is pretty much it as far as the accessories are concerned. There aren't surprises here, even though I've read online that in some countries Motorola is offering headphones with this device, which may or may not apply as a bundle in some parts of Earth. Okay, so we're done with the case. Let's talk about the actual phone. Now, it's made of glass at the back side with a soft touch finish, which is rather slippery, glass at the front, which has Gorilla Glass Victus protection and is very curved on the sides, and an aluminum frame between. If you want measurements, it's 8.59mm, although it feels much slimmer, and 199 grams, although it feels much lighter. It definitely helps that the phone is very narrow when it comes to actually handling it. It handles a bit like a Pixel, that's one of my impressions. It's got IP68 certification for water, dust and even dirt resilience, and the colors are black and blue. Once again, glass, metal and glass again, very curved and, to be honest, pretty good looking and pretty immersive. It's actually quad curved, that's what defines the design in this case. Now this beautiful screen that you see glistening in here is a 6.67 inch P-OLED panel, Full HD Plus, with an impressive 160Hz refresh rate, good enough for gaming. There's HDR10+, there's Dolby Vision, there's low blue light protection and the promise of 1600 nits of brightness, which I can pretty much confirm because we do have a very bright panel. Now, I'm going to let Aida tell the rest of the story on account of the fact that it shows the full specs. Starting with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, a 4nm CPU, which is quite powerful, and it's accompanied in this case by 12 gigs of RAM, LPDDR5X, plus 256GB of storage. There's also a version with 512. Of course, UFS 4.0. Moving up to the battery, it's a 4600 mAh unit with 125 watt charging. It also has turbo power technology, 15 watts wireless charging and 5 watts reverse wireless charging, power sharing. For music we have stereo speakers. I see one at the bottom and I see one at the top, which is an interesting approach which usually Xiaomi tackles. We also have Dolby Atmos and 4 microphones here. Considering this is a productivity device, you may as well take your calls and video conferences on it. Connectivity wise, there's NFC available here on this handset, as well as dual SIM card slots, GPS, 5G, Wi-Fi 6E. It's also Wi-Fi 7 ready. There's Bluetooth 5.3 and the bottom port is USB-C 3.2 with output for video signal. Now I'm going to go to a white background because we need it, because we can actually show you this cutout for the impressive selfie camera. It's a 60 megapixel shooter. I've seen it on its predecessors. f2.2 aperture, quad pixel, and going to the back side, there's a lot to talk about. These are two 50 megapixel sensors. The main one is the wide one, f1.8, optical image stabilization and omnidirectional pixel. We have much more pixels, overall for the focus compared to the previous generation. There's once again optical image stabilization. Then we have the 50 megapixel ultra wide camera, which is also used for macro and has 140 14 degrees capture. This is the LED flash, and this is the third camera, which is the telephoto 12 megapixel 2x optical zoom, which is used for portrait. You can actually take portraits in 3 focal lengths, and a very impressive aperture of f1.6. There is a slight focus on portrait, it feels, for me. We have all pixel focus, which means you're focusing with all of the pixels in the image, which promises to deliver an amazing way of focusing with this handset. You're taking macros at up to 3 centimeters in close-ups, and a novelty is the fact that you can take night vision videos, which is pretty impressive to see. Now, the modes are pretty typical for a Motorola: panorama, dual capture photo and video, night vision, scan, spot color photo and video, 50 megapixel full res, time lapse. There's the pro mode with the option of a raw capture and these tweaks here. There's a portrait with the 3 focal lens, 85mm, 50mm and 35mm. The regular photos with these extra options, regular videos with these extra options, and guess what, you can film in 8K at 30 frames per second, and slow-mo is also part of the package. The core novelty for the video is this feature here, which is called well, horizontal lock. So basically you're filming and the horizon stays fixed ahead of you, which is something we saw on the Vivo X80 Pro. If you remember, it was helped by a gimbal there. Now, as far as the software is concerned, this is basically almost stock Android 13, but with some changes. You can see that the Motorola My UX area has changed. Up the top, we have a recommendation for the latest new feature. This is the customization area. Things are a bit more playful now, and they have bolder fonts. That's what I feel. You can tweak the fingerprint animation, pick display, sounds, dark mode and edge lighting. And by the way, the fingerprint scanner is of the optical variety and it works quite properly. These are the gestures you can use to trigger various features and apps. Then we have the Moto Secure, which is a novelty, and it's actually quite good for securing your data. There's a secure folder, network protection, lock screen security, and a pin pad scramble. So if anyone is looking over your shoulder to see how you're inputting the pin, well, this one is actually scrambling it so they don't know how you're inputting. There's a privacy dashboard here and permission control, so this is a very nice feature to see. Display options galore, and also there's the play area for gaming and also for Dolby Atmos and all of its tweaks, which aren't few. Plus video call effects. Now, since we spoke about effects and all that, we should also have the ready for department here, which basically has 3 or 4 purposes. Okay, so with ready for, you can do, I would say, 4 things. First of all, you can use a desktop mode on a monitor, simulating the experience of, let's say, Windows. You can watch movies on it, you can play video games, or do video calls. You can also connect this smartphone to a PC and use it as a webcam, so those are some of the options which are available here. You can see what you can do when you connect the device to the PC. Stream apps, mobile desktop files, webcam and instant hotspot. And this is what you can do when you connect the device to a monitor or TV set via wireless or via wire. Okay, so I would say this is pretty much it as far as the first contact goes with the Motorola Edge 40 Pro. At first you'll feel it's slippery, but it's so narrow that it will get comfy. I'm actually digging the new interface from the customization area. And the camera has made me curious, especially for the stabilization features, the night vision video, and to be honest, the selfies and portraits make me very curious. Okay, so I would say this is pretty much it. It's basically a return to the original Motorola Edge, which was just as curved and just as narrow, and the promise of, well, lots of gaming on account of the CPU and the very high refresh rate of the screen. That's it from gsno.com. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing. We'll be back with a video for the review pretty soon. Goodbye.